Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Brian Scholten. Anyone else following the Diddy trial? No? Well, allegedly Diddy hired a male escort to have sex with his girlfriend while he sat in the corner and directed him on what to do. And then when they were finished, he would have his girlfriend take the escort's semen and rub it on his nipples. It's like, come on, Diddy, stop stealing my moves, all right? Has anyone else been on the phone and telling necrophiliac jokes and your battery dies? You just keep telling the jokes and pretend that your phone is still alive. I find it really weird when they put real people in comic books, except for that time that Captain America punched Hitler. That was pretty cool. But do you guys remember when Olympic gold medalist Bruce Jenner joined the X-Men? That was a weird mutant power. So I saw this erectile dysfunction medication commercial, and it had the former first baseman of the White Sox, Frank Thomas, in it. And now, I don't have any problems with boners or anything like that, you know? And I feel like if I took the same ED medication as a big black guy whose nickname was the Big Hurt, the cartilage would burst through the urethra like a snake shedding its skin. And I think most people in this room can agree with me that, like, if we were to take any ED medication that was endorsed by an athlete, it would probably be one of those weird little guys with the high-pitched voice that rides a horse for a few seconds in the Kentucky Derby. Or maybe Caitlyn Jenner, because, I mean, that's an erectile dysfunction if I don't know what else to call it. I used to know this Mexican girl, so I asked her if she wanted to Netflix an enchilada. Surprisingly, she said yes. But it turns out she just wanted enchiladas in my Netflix password. So fast forward a little bit, and ICE deported us to Sri Lanka for some reason. They've been doing that. I got a little worried at first because I'm not that worldly, and Sri Lanka sounds like an exotic place, so I thought it was just filled with hot dudes. But it turns out all the men just look like male-nourished Indian guys with no teeth, so I think I'm safe. Could probably get her back if I want, you know, if she needs a Disney Plus password or something. I was watching women's basketball, and the winning team dumped a cooler over their coach's head. It wasn't filled with Gatorade, as you'd expect. It was filled with confetti. Now, I think I figured out the problem with women's basketball. Like, I'm no expert or nothing, but I'm pretty sure you can't drink confetti. And I think I also figured out why the women's basketball players are paid so much less than the men. One of the NBA's biggest sponsors is Gatorade, which is owned by Pepsi, a multi-billion-dollar global corporation. And one of the WNBA's biggest sponsors is the second largest confetti company from Connecticut. Kind of explains the pay gap a little bit. Now, I don't get why the conservatives are suddenly so interested in women's sports. It's like they've all become middle school girls' gym teachers. Like, why is it that the Republicans only care about women's rights when it comes to some trans athlete that wants to swim or something? Because the way I see it, if they let trans women play sports, I think both sides win. And I don't know exactly what the left's end game is, but at the very least, women's sports would be far more interesting to watch. Except for if they let them play beach volleyball. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like you gotta draw the line somewhere, and that line is in the sand, all right? But for the conservatives, if they let trans women play sports, the patriarchy wins yet again, thus asserting its dominance. Like, that's literally the only way we could take over women's sports. Like, imagine some gigantic Lithuanian lady starts putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers after she cuts her cock off. Like, Michael Jordan scored 38 points in what was called the flu game. I think he could have scored 200 points in what would have been deemed the period game, had he joined the WNBA without even letting the stitches heal. But if he decided to cut his cock off, it's the dedication, and I appreciate the love of the game. And that's why I have no problem with anyone who's born male competing in women's sports. But you gotta cut your cock off, you know? And balls. You can't forget about the balls. Unless you're trying to get a trans mullet, you know, short on the top and long in the back, but I don't think that's a thing. My only issue with all of this is everyone seems to forget about the trans male athletes. And I think that's because mostly they don't exist. Because first of all, a lady would have to grow a cock somehow. And that's not even scientifically possible yet, I don't think. But even then, I don't think they'd make the third string catcher for a single A baseball team, let alone be breaking records. And I don't like the double standard, you know? It's like if a lady has sex with a bunch of dudes, they call her a slut. But if a guy does the same exact thing, they call him a homosexual. What's that all about? I saw this electronic billboard that said that 30% of all fatal car crashes in Michigan were the cause of drunk drivers. And I don't mean to nitpick, but I feel like that number should be a little bit higher. I think if it was like 75%, I'd feel more comfortable with that. Because it's kind of concerning that the odds are better to be killed by some sober Michigan idiot who's still waving tattered Trump 2020 flags in the back of his pickup truck. Like it's 233% greater than the odds of being killed by an inebriated person. And if that's not pure Michigan, I don't know what is. So everyone drink up, let's keep the road safe tonight. Thank you very much, that's my time. I'm Brian Scholten.
Thank you guys. I'm so happy.